good afternoon. This is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and I hope this finds you all well out there. It's kind of a grey day here, but not too bad considering that we are just on the cusp of going into December. So primarily I want to talk a little bit about money today because I'm sure that that is on your minds. But first I've got a bit of housekeeping to do, and yes, I sold 5 of the 7 pups, and one of them, believe it or not, this is a shout out goes out to Natalie in BC. Natalie has been watching my videos for a long time, and she followed the birth of the pups, and I got an email right out of the blue, especially as I mentioned 2 people let me down, and she said she wanted to buy a pup. And so, as luck would have it, her sister is flying out on December the 1st to BC for Christmas, and she is going to take the pup with her. I'm dropping her off on Thursday there, and she gets to ride in what, I've never heard of this before, it's a cabin crate, and basically this is a box that fits under the passenger seat, so you're not in a depressurized cargo, cold, nasty, horrible, being roughed up on, baggage handling. You get put on a cart and dragged across the runway and so on and so forth to the baggage unloading area. So this is absolutely perfect. So thank you so much, Natalie and Jill, and I'll be hoping to get some photographs of the whole process. So that is absolutely fantastic. And we're getting down to the end now. I will be left with 2 male puppies at the end of the week, and although I've enjoyed this process, my golly, it has felt like a marathon, because basically with their schedule of being having to go out every couple of hours or so, it's only left me a couple of hours in between those times to get other things done. So it has been really hectic. So the other piece of housekeeping that I have to do is, yes, I got my new phone, my Samsung Galaxy S21, and here it is. I'm quite happy with it. It's taking a bit of time getting used to the Galaxy again because it's a little bit different from the iPhone, but incredible. I am going to link below a little video that I found. This guy is unbelievable, okay? Just a young lad, he's obviously a techie, and because I was wondering whether I should upload, because it's brand new, whether I should upload another operating system, but there are complications with that, and I'm not really that techie, so I don't want to make a mistake. Anyway, what this guy shows you to do in this video, you cannot believe how much stuff in here is basically pre-set as a default from Google when you buy the phone, and he takes you through all the deep menus and how to switch all this tracking stuff off. So you are 95% de-Googled by the time you finish this process. It's easy, it's simple to follow. Well, even I followed it. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to link that below, and check that out, because if you have an Android, there are lots of Google features in there that are default programmed into that phone, and you can switch them off. Okay, so you might want to just do that. So money, we're in a situation right now where it's hard to know exactly what to do with your money. The facts and figures really don't make any sense anymore. The inflation data, the GDP data, it's so messed with and manipulated, it cannot be trusted. Now, of course, I've got to say right up front, this is not financial advice, okay? This is purely and simply my own observations, opinions, and what I am trying to do with my money, what precious little money that I have. So people say go into gold and silver in times of difficulty. And I would agree that historically and traditionally gold and silver have been safe havens against inflation, and against all kinds of things. But the problem that I see with that, and I do prefer silver over gold, by the way. Silver has a much better trajectory because gold is, after all, a hoarding metal, and it will be used as some kind of valuation tool, a placeholder for price. Once again, it may be, I don't know whether that's 100%, but silver is an industrial metal. Silver is being used for everything you can think of electronic. There's still a lot of photography, more than you would think, that uses silver, and it uses silver up in a way that it can't be replaced. And so hospitals, coat all of their tools and that kind of stuff to prevent infection. Every electrical connection has silver in it. Yes, there's so many uses for silver, it's unbelievable, and we are using more than we are mining out of the ground. So I think that has potential. But for day-to-day use, if somebody were to come up to me and say, well, will you take this silver coin? I don't know. I can't test it. I can't, without some effort, I can't guarantee that that is what it says it is. And can I use that again? I used to think this myself, that if you had some silver coins, some junk silver, you'd be able to transact quite easily with that stuff. And, you may well find in situations of dire emergency that there will be, a goldsmith or silversmith will sit at the entrance of a supermarket, and you take your silver, he'll weigh it, and you'll get so many credits, and you'll be able to go and purchase whatever you need from the supermarket, if it's there. Like I say, all our systems are getting turned upside down, and because the systems and the markets are so corrupted and out of sync with each other. You say right now, with food shortages going on and issues in the farming area, that investing in food stocks will be a good thing, and, food companies, well, they've been catching fire. They have been going out of business. The stock market, it's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, has done all kinds of horrible things to, farmers who are investing, taking their money to settle debts elsewhere. How could you even trust that market, even if you could read what was going on? You're going to get your fingers burnt. There's no doubt about it. I think anything to do with stocks, bonds, anything like that is too far away from your reach. Same with paper silver, paper gold. That old saying, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. But I do think that silver will be in a situation where companies like Dow Chemicals, which will probably stay, in business because we need those chemicals, they will be the purchasers of silver, and they will determine the price, and you will take it to their back door, and they will weigh it and test it, and they will give you whatever the market rate is, or the value that they put on that piece of silver. And that's how bulk silver, even coin silver, I think is going to go. Like, say, you might have a little bit, you'll be able to exchange at a supermarket or other places that will, accept that kind of stuff. But, in many ways, I think that the local currency that you're using all the time will remain in use and circulation. And, it will actually become, less corrupted, because printing of money may well stop in this crisis, because banks are in so much trouble, governments are in so much trouble, it is unbelievable. But if you had like a fixed amount of circulating currency, that's basically non-inflationary. And we all know the Canadian dollar or the American dollar or the British pound or wherever you happen to be located, and money will go back to its old usage and its proper usage, which is just a medium of exchange, because it's hard to exchange a bushel of apples for a quarter of beef. How do you value that out? Okay, well, we say a bushel of apples is worth this much money and a quarter of beef is worth this much money. You sell your bushel of apples to somebody who wants the apples, who'll give you the money, and you can take to the farmer and buy the beef. So it becomes a unit of exchange, and it doesn't need to be backed by anything physical. It's the fact that it's limited will maintain its value as a currency. And as I say, as long as we all accept that, it'll work. When I was working in my barber shop, sometimes I would trade for things, for services or for food, eggs, chickens, vegetables, this kind of stuff. And I would just say to the person, well, you charge me what you would normally charge in Canadian dollars, and I will charge you what I would normally charge you for a haircut in Canadian dollars. And you know what? It pretty much worked out perfectly priced for both parties. Okay, so, money... when we talk about corrupted money, it is usually at the central bank level that money is corrupted. But now all of these banks, all of these governments, and the energy companies now, of course, are really starting to topple. The pension companies are starting to topple because they got involved in what is called insurance rate swap derivatives. In other words, all of these companies, all of these derivatives were betting that interest rates were going to continue downwards. And to be honest with you, I would never in a million years thought that the central bank, that the US Fed, would raise interest rates. I mean, if you raise interest rates, you throw every government under the bus, every pension plan under the bus, everyone who's in debt, every mortgage holder under the bus. So, yeah, nobody could have seen that one coming. Anyway, everybody was betting that we were going to go in. Everybody was talking. You remember 2, 3, 4 years ago? Everybody, every accountant, every specialist, every economist was saying, oh no, we're going into negative interest rates. Which is why, you can't believe half the predictions that you hear on these videos. Someone said, everyone comes from their own perspective. Gold bugs think that gold is going to soar. Silver bugs think that silver is going to soar. Bitcoin, crypto, everyone has their own belief that one is going to crash and one is going to soar. But, as I say, 2 years ago, you wouldn't have found anybody who would bet against interest rates going up, because it just was not going to happen. There were so many disastrous side effects. But yet here we are. Interest rates are going up, and the Federal Reserve has said that they're going to increase their interest rates. Yes, maybe not as harshly, but it is still making it difficult for every person who owes money to pay that money back, especially overseas debtors, because they used US dollars to settle those debts. I still think that Bitcoin will remain or will become the kingmaker. Because at the end of the day, especially when you have, cross-border interactions, business interactions, you need to have trust is your absolute priority. And right now, can anybody tell me what country would you trust in a financial transaction right now? When the West can cut off your SWIFT number, they can cut into that transaction, FinTrack can freeze your bank account, at any moment. I mean, who's going to use those channels? There's only one thing. There's only one thing, and that is Bitcoin, that operates outside of those channels and has operated successfully for 11 or 12 years now. And they're very careful in their the mainstream media. Oh, the crypto world is crashing. Oh, it's coming to... They don't say the Bitcoin world is crashing. Oh, no. Because the Bitcoin world, even though Bitcoin has come down in price, it is still fairly strong compared to even a couple of years ago. I remember buying some Bitcoin at $9,000 a Bitcoin. Okay? It wasn't a whole heck of a lot, but that was only 2 years ago. That Bitcoin is still worth almost double what it was 2 years ago. But at the end of the day, people, I don't care who it is, and this is what we have to go by now, really, what I'm going by now, is not so much facts and figures, but is what does human nature dictate? What do people do? What do people want? When I cut a deal with someone, I need to know that deal's going to go through, and then I'm going to get something that I can in turn use to either utilize myself or trade off or spend, and the other person wants to know that they're getting what they ordered. That's it. That's basically, you've got to have that, raw, basic level of trust. And we don't have that today. Now, Russia Say what you like about Russia. Russia has said that they will accept Bitcoin in exchange for large amounts of commodities. That's an amazing statement, ladies and gentlemen. They're telling you that they are prepared to trust that platform. Now, whether you like Russia or not, this is nothing. Well, even Ukraine has said that they will accept Bitcoin in trade for cereals, wheats, oats, and that kind of stuff, grains. Okay, lithium, all the other things, raw materials that come out of Ukraine, they'll accept Bitcoin. Well, why would they do that? Would you accept something that you can't spend? Would you accept something that you think is going to go to zero, is going to be useless? If you're a country that size, do you think that the Ukraine and Russia don't have enough money to ask the correct advisors? Because I'll tell you one thing. I mean, I know a lot of money is lost in foolish scams, but by and large, especially when it comes to large amounts of money, people are very, very careful to make sure, you know, that the deal's going to go through. Okay, so Bitcoin is the only man left standing that is trusted by everybody. Why are they trying to turn you off that? Why is this crypto crash taking place? This is all manipulated. You can tell when you look at the charts, when you scroll down the charts, basically every crypto is going up and down in unison. There's only the odd one or two that are not. That tells me this is a whole manipulated situation. This is to scare you out of the Bitcoin market and any other cryptos, but more especially the Bitcoin market, because the central banks and the banks and the big players, they're going to snatch up those Bitcoin immediately. And you don't see those purchases because those are over-the-counter purchases that you don't necessarily see taking place in the exchanges. Okay, these are separate deals taking place. So yes, you're going to suddenly find that Bitcoin is going to turn around and everyone will be dealing in Bitcoin, and they'll go, oh, what, you didn't know? Well, it was all out there. The signs were there. We saw them. Didn't you see them? Because that's how they play the game. That's how they always play the game. Okay? These people don't want a good price. They want you crushed. Okay? They want the price crushed to below zero. And they'll pick it up for pennies, cents on the dollar. And then they'll say, well, didn't you see that coming? Well, of course we didn't. Of course the average guy didn't see it coming. The average woman didn't see it coming because, you know, they had inside information. They knew the trends, although that information is out there, but you have to dig for it. And that is why I am so positive that Bitcoin will remain a champion and will end up being the reserve currency of the world, because none of these bozos can be trusted. You can't even trust your fingers with a $2 deal, for God's sake, with these people. You know, they're just going to try and rip you. So, you have to start thinking, what do people do and with human nature? What do you do when the blowtorch gets up against your leg? You move quickly. That's when you start finding out about stuff. Okay, and that's what inflation is doing. But inflation is putting the blowtorch against people's legs, and they're going to find out the hard way how ugly these money lenders can be, and governments too. You know, these are the people that created this mess. These are the people that created this mess, and they're now offering a solution with central bank digital currencies. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look at what's going on in China, for God's sake. Even the Chinese are protesting. And a lot of this is caused by the zero tolerance for COVID and lockdowns. But they're smashing down fences, and the security people have lost control. You know, you've got 1.8 billion people that they have tried to keep in a box using digital ID. Now, I know it's not the whole country of China that is under digital ID, but, you know, the rest of the country, whether it has digital ID or not, is ruled with a draconian hand. And we've got to the point now, you see, where the people are rising up in a big way. And you're going to see this across the world because of the money situation. And a saying that I had in the barber shop was, nothing takes away your sense of humour like a money problem. And if you see someone who is as miserable as all get out, I'll guarantee you they have got a money problem. So where do you put your money? Well, you will have to really investigate. I would still say gold, silver, Bitcoin, land, lead. I'll get cans, food, and I'll let you figure out what one of those leads are. But yeah, you're really going to have to do your research, and you're going to have to go back to those basics, those things that have been trusted in the past. And like me, hold on to the seat of your pants, and because here we go. Here we go. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how this is going to play out. Okay, so get ready, get your supplies ready, and expect some unbelievable news, in the coming, probably the next quarter. By the time you get to end of March of next year, I think you're going to be staggered by the things that are going to be taking place in our world. So, like I say, hang on to your hats. She's coming in. So, I love this saying, be brave, stay calm, and wait for the signs. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe below. And in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and we'll talk very, very shortly. You take care now. See ya. Bye.